My name is Paul Hansen. I'm a jazz bassoonist, and here I'm going to explain my downloadable PDF book, Jazz Training for Bassoonists.
Here is a sampling of some of the PDF's contents.
So the first entry here in this book is a jazz standard called Little Sunflower. And it's a perfect tune to start with because it's relatively easy. There's not many chords to have to play over. There's basically 3 chords in the entire piece. And so this means that you can really experiment around and play around one chord and get to know that tonality.
After you play the melody, try some improvisation based on the instructions that you see on the page. So first off is beginning scalar improvisation.
Playing up and down the scale.
The next level of improvisation on this etude is minor pentatonics. The tonality of this etude is D minor, D Dorian minor, which is also C major, but just starting on a D. Inside the C major scale, there are 3 minor pentatonic scales: D minor, E minor, and A minor pentatonic. The next selection in the book is Nectarine Island. It's based on the Herbie Hancock tune called Cantaloupe Island. This can be performed at 2 different tempos. One is a faster 1960s style blue note jazz version, and another one more 70s, 80s funk soul jazz. On the faster version of the tune, it's really easier to dig into the 8th notes at this tempo. Here's what that variation sounds like. The last variation on Nectarine Island is a 16th note horn line similar to funk horn styles. It's a little fast at this tempo, but here it is. Now here's that funk horn line, but at a slower soul jazz tempo. Here's a little bit of 16th note improvisation at that fast speed on this song.
Now we're going to go back to a slower version of this tune, more of a soul jazz funk style.
Next, we move to the intermediate section of the book. We're going to do a tune now called Boss Bluray, which is my version of the Kenny Dorham standard Blue Bossa. Next, we have 7 variations on Boss Bluray. I'm going to skip the first 2 in this demonstration and focus on number 3 first. This variation features outlined chords with arpeggiation. Here we have variation number 5, Bebop. It's based on chromaticism. Now variation number 7 is the most difficult one. It features minor pentatonics, chromaticism, arpeggiation, and most of all, double timing, or playing 16th note figures instead of 8th note figures. This is known as changing gears, double timing, and this is how it goes.
Next up is where the real nitty-gritty starts.
This is the most advanced section of the book. We'll be playing a tune called Bird Work, which is based on Charlie Parker's tune Ornithology. First, I'll play the melody of the tune, otherwise known as the head. Then I'll play the third variation, which we call the chorus, the third chorus. At the end of the book, there's an appendix. There are 2 items. The first is how to outline jazz chords on bassoon using a very sensible approach that sounds good for jazz bassoon improvisation. The second is a good minor pentatonic pattern written out in all 12 keys. There are also 2 more advanced etudes and 1 intermediate etude in this book.
I get much more into minor pentatonics in other publications, such as my book, Technique Studies for Jazz Bassoon Improvisation. But this is a good start. Next, what you need to do is work with the iReal Pro app at different tempos. You can work slower, you can work faster. It's a great app for practicing. And you can start with all this behind you, coming up with your own lines. And the more you work it, the more you're going to get to the point where you can play bebop tunes and harder tunes and really have fun with it. Be inventive and have a great time. And then, of course, go out when you can and find other people to play with. And then you're really in the clear and having a great time playing jazz bassoon. I'm Paul Hansen. Thank you very much.